Hello, everybody. This is Debbie. Time for a Sunday morning chat. Afternoon. It's late afternoon because today I went to a sound healing class. So I just got home and I decided today we're going to talk about the elemental realm. So, for those of you who don't know, the elementals include fairies, undines, sylphs, and yeah, those are the ones I can think of right now. Anyway, creatures that are kind of in another dimension, but you can also see them in our dimension if you're open and receptive and if they'd like to contact you. So, let's talk about fairies. Okay? Fairies can be good or bad. They're not all good, but they help the plants grow. They help your garden. They help your plants inside your house too, if you'd like. And you can also ask them for favors, but they probably expect something in return. So if you want to attract some fairies, you might make a fairy house, which you can make out of natural occurring things, such as branches, leaves, shells, stones. But everything in the fairy house has to be natural. And no iron, because they cannot be around iron. If you want to keep fairies out, you put up iron, like horseshoes or iron bars will keep the fairies out. So you can put a horseshoe up, that will keep them out. There's, stories about how the fairies can spoil your milk in the barn. So people would hang horseshoes to keep the fairies out. But if you'd like the fairies to come visit you, what I like to do is go out on the full moon and take some little treats. They like sweets. They like fruit. So take some sweet fruit or some candy, put it outside, and sing a little song to the fairies. So I just make up a little song, fairy, fairy, fae, come and play with me today, or something like that. And maybe drum a little bit, and because they love to sing and dance around the fire in the full moon. So you want to do something like that, and then ask for a sign that they heard you, which would be a fairy ring of mushrooms the next day. So if you're lucky enough to get a fairy ring of mushrooms, then you know that the fairies heard you, and they'll be trying to grant your wish. Okay? Now, sylphs are air elementals. So they deal with the element of the air. The undines are the water elementals. So they live in rivers and streams and things like that. And there's a fire elemental too. I can't remember the name of those. But there's also a fire elemental. So there's an elemental for every element. Water, earth, fire, and air. Okay? Another thing I learned today was that the elementals are associated with the sacral chakra. Okay? So that's the chakra that you're working with the elemental realm. And they're in the second dimension. Okay? Your roots chakra is the first dimension. Elementals are the second dimension. We're in the third dimension for the most part. And then fourth and fifth, of course. And sixth is your crown chakra. So, I don't have a fairy house to show you, but you can look them up online. There's a lot of times there's people that make really nice fairy houses, or you can make fairy doors on trees. And I've also heard from a friend of mine that if you go out in the woods and you knock on a tree, sometimes they'll knock back. So you could try that. Also, I know people who get great pictures of fairies. I've gotten pictures of fairies. So whenever you feel like a fairy might be around, you don't have to see them with your eye, but you can just snap pictures randomly out in nature. And if you feel like there's a special spot, or you see a fairy ring, or you just some beautiful flowers, or some bugs that look maybe like they could really be fairies. Sometimes dragonflies or different bugs look like fairies, but they're not. They're bugs. But you never know. So just snap some pictures and see what you get. And you can get fairies in your house if you're the kind of person they're attracted to. Like when I was hosting the Aisha's Ascension workshops in Illinois, when I lived in Illinois, the teachers that came to teach the class, the Aishaya monks, they can see the elemental realm. That's one of the gifts they get when they reach a certain level of their ascension path. So they told me that I had very large fairies in my house that they could see, like foot tall ones. But I unfortunately never saw them in my house, but they told me that. So I believe them. And that was really cool to know that I had some fairies around in my house. So if you'd like to work with them, just be careful, be polite, be grateful if they help you, and give them little treats. All right, that's all I got for today. Namaste. Have a great week.